What an interesting night we have had. The three matches that have gone quick, in all honesty, and now we head to what could be the deciding match for Wildcard and Elevate. This is going to be a close one. Raven, again, would you like to recap any of tonight's matches before we move into what will be our final match?
Look, we're still digging for the close game that we've been promising every single time. None of them have managed to be as close as we expect. I hate to say it again. I feel like the last match of the night is going to be a nice, close barn burner style, but I've probably just jinxed it.
Yeah, I think you may have just jinxed it. You shouldn't have said it. Damn you, yep. Raven. Well, you know what? Let's have a look at the first team. Not my bad. Who cares? Anyway, Wildcard, let's have a look at what's going to happen here. Diesel, Vinny, Emo, Rin, Pat, and Geo. These boys have been through quite a bit this season, you would have to say. It feels as though they've never really settled, Raven.
No, it's still not feeling like they have quite settled back into their comfort zone or their strengths. Vincia has added some good depth to the roster. He's had a bit of a hit and miss performance. He's had a couple of matches where he's just been absolutely on fire. And then there was one there in particular against Noble where it just seemed like it was a bit quiet. But regardless, they have not been having the dominant season as they had in Six Masters. Right now, I'm not sure after tonight's standings, but they're sitting around the third, fourth position. So, not the breakthrough that we were expecting.
No, but one team that could potentially have a huge breakthrough, that is Elevate. They've taken on Rhythm, they've taken on Akami, beating both of those teams and keeping it close against Knights as well. Of course, this is the roster of Vast, Worthy, God Legion, Digital, and Hotshot. Digital went off on Wednesday night, and potentially this could be quite a similar storyline, but it does come down to a lot of factors. However, you feel like Elevate have been on the rise since the start of this season.
And something that was really important to me about Wednesday's game was that people had highlighted that maybe it was the God Legion show or just God Legion and Worthy that were pulling the weight for Elevate, but it was Digital and Hotshot that stood up for them in Wednesday's game against Akami. So I think that really proved that there is the depth here, and Vast has been very important on roles like the Montaigne, for example, as well. So I think right now, Elevate seems to be clicking better than I would say what we've seen from Wildcard.
Yep.
We're going to find out exactly if that's the case or not, because they are up against each other right now. But yeah, I think Elevate are starting to really return to some of the form that we saw out of these guys in Pro League Season 11.
No, I would totally agree with that. And potentially this is the form and this is where they peak. But where we will play is left up to the veto. Any thoughts, Raven, as we get into the map vetoes?
This is a tough one to pick, honestly. Maybe some cafe. I'm honestly hoping not Clubhouse, just because we've seen too much of it already. I would also love to see some Oregon, but we'll see.
All right, let's have a look. We've had Oregon and we've had Clubhouse twice tonight. Where will we head? Thank you. They must have heard us. The Elevate gods, the mountain people have heard us. Clubhouse is off, and it looks like we could potentially know we are going to Consulate, Raven, which I haven't seen this season with my own eyes, that is. I don't think we've played it so far, have we?
I don't think we have, actually. Now that you say it, I don't think we have.
Yeah. I'm like trying to...
Sorry, you go.
No, I was just saying, I'm trying to scroll back in my mind and I can't seem to think.
No, I don't think we've seen it. If we have, maybe once. Very rare. But looking back at the results between these two teams, Consulate has been a map that's played pretty consistently. The most recent result was a 7-5 in favor of Wildcard. Very close map in the end. I feel like I can remember that match, and it was a real nail-biter. So I'm expecting just the same to be happening again tonight.
I really hope so, because we have been promising nail biters the entire time, and my nails are still perfectly fine at the moment. So unfortunately, we're still coming to that point. This surely is the time, Raven.
Surely. Look, I really hope so. Potential here for overtime. Feel like that's a line I've said all night too, but it really does. And these guys have generally had a history of close games, especially recently. There's been a couple of patches where it's been a bit of a blowout, more so in the Wildcard favor. But yeah, in the recent history, it's generally been quite a great contest.
Well, with how many changes Wildcard have gone through, it will be interesting to see what happens with this matchup. Let's have a look at the snowball predictions, what the expert panel, if you will, believe. And I think that if you had not have watched Wednesday night, you would have thought completely well and truly this is the way it will go. But again, a lot of results that came out from Wednesday night's matches have really put doubt in my mind as to how close, well, rather, it's confirmed in my mind how close this season really is, Raven.
Yeah, it actually has turned out to be a lot closer than we were expecting, or even from the initial part of the season. Felt like it wasn't going to be as close as we saw Six Masters be, at least. But yeah, I think this is going to be a tough game to predict. Again, because we did these early, I would have potentially considered flip-flopping if we had a chance to change.
Yep. And to be honest, you would have been completely right to do so because Elevate, they've been on the rise. They're climbing the mountain. Could this be the peak for them? They're taking on Wildcard. And to do so, they will have to be at their best. Even with Wildcard's shaky performances as of late, you still do favor them. They are still the best in the region for now, I will say.
For now, I think is a big asterisk on that because based on form, I'd argue the Knights are looking like they're the best in the region. But we haven't seen Wildcard versus Knights, so looking forward to that one. Capital Band coming out from Wildcard at the start here is a strong operator to use on Consulate from window play, cutting rotates with the smokes, using the fire to help you take yellow as well. Pretty important.
Goodbye, Thatcher, my love. I feel like the last... Yeah, sorry, go.
I was like, we had a couple of maps with Thatcher. It's like, dab it in there.
I'm gonna say I was shocked to see that we had 2 matches back to back in the ANZ region with Thatcher on the board. So it's good to go back to trying ways. And my will be next.
Thatcher in the ANZ region is very much like the spawn peaks. You just got to sprinkle them in there.
We do love a good spawn peak, let's be completely honest. So will my stroke taken out on the defensive side. And it will be Wildcard starting on the defense. Now, we definitely have seen some shaky games, and I do use that because LFO, they won 7-4, but even then, LFO still looked pretty good at the start of Cafe on the first Playday, and then Noble obviously taking them all the way to round 15, where in fact they did lose to Noble. And just last week, Rhythm, of all teams, they made it a little bit of a sweat fest for Wildcard. So potentially it's on the cards here, and Elevate will be hunting in the water right now.
They will. I think it's going to be really important for Wildcard to get a strong start so that they can feel some confidence and get some momentum going. Community vote. Wow, it's pretty heavy in favor of Wildcard. I guess in one way, not super surprising because very recognizable as a strong team in the region. I think this should be justifiably closer.
I would definitely agree with that because the problem is for people who for people who don't watch the ANZ region as much, of course, Wildcard is, a staple in the scene right now. And, with their international appearances, it's very easy to call who you would think is going to take it out of this. But the fact of the matter is, Elevate have been a very good team for such a long time. And their Six Masters appearance last year definitely is not a good indication of the team that they really are and the team that they can become. So I would very much like to see this match fold out and really give us the full regulation at the very least to show us the full power that Elevate can bring on the roster that they've currently got.
And speaking of Elevate in their history, this Elevate was Vincia's first high-level team, so to speak. So it's where he really got his start, if you want to call it that. And here he is up against them. So a bit of a storyline there to follow.
Certainly so. Still dealing with it. Maybe at the moment. Looking for the run out. Will he find Hot Shot? No, Hot Shot reads that perfectly, in fact. Vincia, unfortunately, off the board early on, will give Elevate the man advantage. A very ambitious start for Wildcard.
Right, very ambitious. It just felt like they were really trying to force something to happen. First round, you could say, well, first round, but at the same time, they have not droned out Immerin. This is going to be deadly manic. He could get a flank here and potentially even get 2 people. He is gone potentially not the right way, though. Oh my god, I am just waiting to see what Immerin pulls off right now, because Elevate feel like they're safe.
And the worst part is we've seen Rin do some absolutely disgusting things in the region. He'll find Worthy, and now he can still do some more damage. Elevate, utterly confused. Digital runs straight up yellow stairs and into the welcoming arms of Rin. He'll find himself a double. This may have just toppled the round in favor of Wildcard. Raven, very big questions for Elevate on that first round.
Yeah, that was some not great droning, and honestly right now I feel like they just need to go to site or something, because in under 40 seconds just trying to drone him out is going to be a pain. Immerin finds the triple. It is finally traded out though, but with less than 30 seconds, only 2 Elevate players up against the 3 Wildcard. It's going to be a tough ask.
And that would be the kindest way of putting it. Fast at the moment going to hold from behind. At least the Banshee will be aware of his position and make known to the rest of Wildcard. Both players low and Elevate. They would have to hit some unbelievably nutty shots right now. It's not going to happen. A lockout from Wildcard on the back of Rin's 3K. And Elevate will be disappointed with themselves.
They will be, because that was such a real miss on that top floor. Yeah, there's not much else to say about how that round panned out, because that just opened it up. Immerin got 3 kills off the back of just being completely misdroned.
Yep. You can see there, Digital just trying to react really promptly, just gets caught out and makes matters even worse. In that position, what do you do, Raven? Do you re-drone the top floor and potentially waste another 30 to 40 seconds just trying to flush Rin out? It's such an awkward place to be.
Yeah, look, it gets tough because your first instinct is going to be trying refrag that, which is why the Zofia did push up yellow stairs straight away. And there's so many places he could have rotated off that. They had meeting hatch open, the piano hatch open. He could have dropped either of those, gone down spiral stairs, could have gone to the Visa, just like so many places he could have gone. I think it was so critical to just not let him get away, because if you have to re-drone that, it takes so much time and still effort to pinch it off. Yeah. I think be thorough with drones in the first place.
Prevention is the best method, I think. So they'll learn their lesson, and with that, they will have to try and attack. Is this? Hang on, did I say lobby? I did. Lobby and piano.
Yes. Yeah.
For Wildcard.
Yeah, I like it. It's a slight adjustment, keep the other team guessing. Wouldn't be a common thing to pick this second. You'd expect top floor and bottom floor are the main 2, this being the 3rd choice. So I like that from Wildcard. Looks like they're going to have a strong vertical presence, which is very important, because if you can't control meeting, it's a bit tricky to control that default plant at the lobby door.
And we really know how crazy Diesel can be sometimes, so Elevate are going to be left with a particularly hard decision, whether to try and force them off the angles here or look for a different play. No one in piano currently. I believe Gio's just in bathroom on the other side of the wall and should have plenty of intel. You'll see it there. Mirror allowing him so much information, whether it be from yellow stairs or behind those piano windows. Only one player on that first floor, Raven.
Yeah, it's a very solid vertical room, and it's good because you really do need vertical control to make these attacks simple or easier, so to speak. You can hold a lot of angles. And if the defense controls that, it's going to be hard to even get a sneaky plant down. They're going to work on flushing Geo out of this position, which I think is a great move. And in turn, if they do get Geo out of here, that might start to dismantle that vertical roam without even pushing it, because then they have to think about how they protect site.
Oh, worthy and vast. That is a great start. And now Elevate have such a good opportunity. Hang on, did they try to both run out?
Yeah, they did. Yep.
Oh my word, that is... That's hilarious. I can't say anything else. And they're going to flush on in here. Geo, how big can he step up? Not big enough for Wildcard, not just yet. But Pat, he's still having something to say. Then he does have that top line, of course, and can still support. Pat, will he be able to deny it? He's got the C4 in hand. Will it be in time? That's the question. It won't need to be because Vinny, he's dropped down. He's now got the control of Lobby and Elevate in a 2 versus 2. How has this gone so horribly wrong for them?
Oh yeah, but God Legion with a great pre-fire around the corner. Only downed though, so Pat is going to be able to just come and pick him up. It's going to be low HP with Pat on full. As God Legion goes to stick this plant. Going to be a tight finish this one, Manic.
Certainly is. Vinny now from underneath. Can he grab the C4 in time? He's seen the player. He's trying to trace it. Unfortunately, he can't do so. Chasing him with the C4. It will not land. 2 versus 2. Both teams quite low on HP. Time dwindling away for Wildcard right now. An incredibly tight line held from God Legion. And he'll pick up 2 to secure their first round. Wildcard have let the ball slip in this one.
They did, and look, it was off the back of what I was going to say was a great entry, but just the double run out from Wildcard, maybe not the play. And that's 3 opening kills that have gone in favor of Elevate, all off runouts. You saw it with Vinny in that first round when he jumped out the yellow stairs window, and now we've just seen it again on the second round. Maybe they just need to chill a little bit more. I mean, they did end up winning that first one, but if they hadn't lost those 2 players in the run out, maybe they would have still had vertical control in that previous defense, and it could have been a bit different story.
Certainly could have been. And now we do get to tell the tale of Elevate and their ability to adapt on the fly. We will be seeing Wildcard reattempt this, and likely we will not see another run out. And if we do, I will be gobsmacked. So, could you imagine, Raven? Could you imagine?
I can imagine, honestly, Matic, but I kind of hope that's what happens.
Well, potentially this time with a little bit more success than the previous 2 attempts. I'm just kind of gobsmacked at the fact that they both died so quickly and 2 ran out. That's pop, pop, just like that. So now we will be reattempting, of course, as said previously, and Elevate, you know, as much as they did God's work making their way to site, Wildcard still nearly brought that one back, Raven, so you don't want to dismiss that too early.
No, you don't. And it looks like the setup has changed ever so slightly here. Geo is not defaulting in public right now, at least. He's playing more towards piano. Diesel just misses one running by that front door. Good progress already. That front door player is just playing with fire. Diesel keeps seeing his little legs run left and right. He's just waiting for the chance to take the shot.
That's great. He's doing a little nudie across main desk. This time, it's Emo Rin that will shut down Hotshot. And potentially, was that a peek from the window? It looks like it had to have been. That it was. Well, it may not be a run out, but at the very least, they do find the opening kill on the back of a bit more of an aggressive play, Raven.
Yeah, overall, it just feels like Wildcard are really wanting to play aggressive right now. Imarin does go for the double, but Vast is in getting this plant down. Geo has been downed. I'm not sure they realize they finally do cancel it. Imarin from above, as again, the value of that vertical control, and it feels like Elevate has really lost what they were trying to do here in this round.
Yep. Definitely that vertical control has just been nuts. Emo Rin with a quad kill. Oh my days. This is the Emo Rin we have all come to know and love, and I will hope that Wildcard give him this ace as Digital tries to make his way around the corner, pre-firing whatever he can find, and it won't be enough. Geo will wait. The claws will clam shut in round number 3, and all but a flawless round from Wildcard, much more successful this time around.
Yeah, hugely. I think Elevate overestimated how well they'd be able to just get in to get that plant down. There was still Diesel above. Emerin was all over the place, and he ended up being above as well. So once they realized that plant was going down, easy enough to deny. Something that happens with Elevate pretty often is they do like to keep their attacks simple, which can work really well for them, but sometimes they just simply don't have enough control.
Yep. So we will be going back down to the basement, Raven. And potentially, I think the only thing that really gave Elevate any sort of a look in was that run out, was that aggressive play. And did look somewhat like like Elevate were expecting it. I would say that slowly but surely Wildcard may just tame themselves a little bit more in respects to how aggressive they play, but shall wait and see how it unfolds now. Definitely a lot more convincing this time around. And very intrigued as to how Elevate really deal with Wildcard on their defense. I mean, we've always known Wildcard to be slow and methodical, especially on their attacks, but this has definitely been a very big change up to begin with.
Yeah, it has. So I'm curious what Elevate will do for adaptations on attacking this site, because we did see it all the way back in round number 1. I mean, it hasn't been that long ago, but it feels like it's been a while. And it was that misdroning of Emo Rin that really cost them. So Elevate need to be very thorough with these drones. They were looking pretty good other than that mistake.
Would agree with you on that. And Elevate this time will not be making any thought of that mistake. Emo Rin is still there though, so who knows? The savagery that is Emo Rin so far in this matchup could particularly catch again Elevate unaware as they start to bit by bit engulf that top floor. The fire and Digital picking up Vincia. Not the greatest start for Wildcard. Emo Rin backs away as well as Elevate take full control of the top floor.
Vincia in general has had a bit of a shocker start. Hasn't really been able to get into the game as yet after these 3 rounds. Now 4, given that he's out of the game in this one. So successful roam clear from Elevate, but it's taken them half the round. So they have to start really making work on this floor so they can secure garage, or they've got to open garage wall. That's one thing. They haven't even cleared out Pat in this public bathroom. They could decide not to. I mean, that's the thing, right? And they know he's there now. That drone definitely saw him.
Will he do? That's the question. They start to put a little bit more pressure on him. He will not actually concede just yet. It's the minute mark. The longer he can hold on to this, the more Elevate are going to have to really claw back this time at the end of the round. Pat still not folding or conceding this position. God Legion and Vast, do they expect this right now? I'll make sure he's not sitting in toward the toilet. As they turn the corner, they will expect it. The shoulder pick comes out. Pat with the C4. Does not connect. 30 seconds left, Raven. And Elevate, they've made their mark.
Yeah, they've still got this man advantage. That C4 could have been really detrimental, but not to be. With only 25 seconds to go, though, it's got to be fully chaotic. Pat looking to get aggressive on yellow. I saw Diesel aggressive around security. It's about to go boom here, Matic.
Oh, it's already going boom, my friend. God Legion taking down Pat. Geo try hold. Don't think he's going to have enough of a line. Emo Rin, what can he find? They are going to stick his hot shot. Has to hope he doesn't fall here because it's all going to fall apart if he does. God Legion holding with the assistance of at least one more member. Geo was left. Worthy dismantles the hold from Wildcard.
Yeah, I think Worthy got a triple in the end, all in that final like 10 seconds or something. Pretty crazy, but a good attack from Elevate. Honestly, they cleared out that room really well. Once they cleared out Geo from public bathroom, they didn't have much time, but they held their positions and they won their gunfights beautifully.
Definitely felt like that was Elevate through and through, and Wildcard not interested in trying to reattempt, regardless of whether they know what went wrong or not. They're going straight to the second floor. And potentially this could end up being a 3-3 half with how topsy-turvy it's been, and Wildcard, you know, taking it to Elevate, but also backing away at the same time. It's been a bit of a knife at this point, being sliced every which way. And Elevate will be more than thankful for that second round regardless.
Yeah, I agree, and it does feel like we are tracking towards some kind of 3-3 scoreline. I feel like right now we're just heading straight towards overtime. It's just trade after trade of rounds. Feels like these teams are quite close with the way the rounds are going or performing. We saw a dominant round from Wildcard, and just then we saw a dominant round from Elevate.
5 seconds remaining.
Ridiculous at this point. Utterly enjoyable. So Geo will be fully well known that he is, of course, down and underneath. How long they decide to hold these roams, well, that's realistically up to Wildcard. So far, it really has been 50-50 in the way it's been working for them. And it looks like they're going to stick to it. Hold to their guns there. Vinny's going to swap out as Geo comes to the first floor. Playing a bit of tag. Would make for a great nuisance on the side of Elevate.
Yeah, and they probably, given that they're pushing quite heavy from this side, they're going to want to have to clear out Diesel from yellow. 3 ADSs there to protect him, so that's going to be a bit tricky there. And he's in such a great position to be able to hold that. Honestly, a lot of the highlight players I've seen of Diesel have all been in this spot, so you want him out of there if you're going to be trying to push in towards the console to get the plant down.
Certainly make perfect sense why he's got those ADS systems with him, all 3 of them in fact. So this will be spice of a different category if Diesel can hold on to it. Minute 30 just ticking away. They will start to burn through the ADSs. How many will they expect there? All down, so
3.
Yep, that does look like they have done, Raven. And now Diesel, he'll start to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, just use those smoke barriers. It's again, the beauty of that spot is that you can just use the smoke to really delay. They're really gunning for him here. Oh my gosh, Elevate just pushed everything through to that. God Legion even pushed through the smoke. He also been taken low, but still in this position.
Oh, he's so nasty. He is just outplaying them at this point. A minute left on the clock, though. All smoke bait's gone from Diesel's hands, so it's all going to come down to his wits and his will. Vinny, though. Oh, how's this from Vinny and Geo? See you later. Nice haircut. Digital. And with Vast taking down Geo, it brings it back into a 3 versus 3. Still with firm control of Yellow Stairs, Raven. There's a lot left for Elevate to do.
Yep, and there's one that's dropped below. Worthy does get that, so Worthy's having a great game. There is trade up on the top floor, though. Diesel low, so Elevate do have the HP advantage, but they're still coming externally from the building, so with only 25 seconds to go, it's going to be very tough for them to be able to get in and feel safe to get this plant down.
Worthy coming in now. Diesel, though, taking down Hot Shot. That is a huge problem for Worthy. A 1 versus 2, low HP. If he can find the kill on the Pat, he has a chance. But Wildcard, they defend it successfully and purge round number 6 of Elevate. Rather, round number 5, if you will. There we go. Now we're into round 6, Raven.
Now we are. And look, I think that all just came back to them not successfully flushing Diesel out of yellow.
Yep.
If they had been able to get that kill when God Legion pushed up, they would have had that control earlier, and I think they would have been able to make the penetration needed on site. Before those roamers even made their move, I mean, that was something that happened there, that Vinny got a kill and it was all traded out. But regardless, what happened at the end is the Elevate still had to come from the windows with only 20 seconds to go. It's never great.
Yep. To lobby we go. Wildcard obviously feeling very confident, as this will be their third attempt on this site. Currently going a success ratio of 50% in this matchup regardless. So it was a much cleaner round that second time around though, Raven. And although there weren't the 2 runouts that Wildcard attempted, they still managed to find the opening pick with Emo Rin peeking from the windows, I believe. So, you know, they're still just keeping Elevate on their toes.
But they are. And this was the last time that this was played when Wildcard won it. This was also the time that Elevate did try to get a cheeky plant early. I think there was still about a minute and a half to go. I didn't quite check the clock, but regardless, they were in there quite early without that vertical control. So right now it's about Elevate looking at the situation, deciding, are they going to try and clear this top floor this time? Or they got another trick up their sleeve?
Yep. And you know they've probably got another trick up their sleeve.
Right now, I feels that way because they're all stacked up outside yellow stairs. So I'm thinking it's like some kind of piano push.
Being droned out on yellow stairs, but Elevate make no real movement toward it. They do start to open up those windows on piano. And Elevate may look to contest somewhat that top floor, even if it is just from CEO. Just give them a little bit more of an unnerving position. But you would have to say that Diesel's sitting pretty comfortable at the moment. Worthy. Elevate just preparing. A minute down, Raven. Have they really done enough so far?
In this round, no. I mean, like, they're waiting for these jump outs again from Wildcard, and they could do this a long time because it feels like Wildcard's learnt their lesson from being too aggressive in those early rounds. We haven't seen it as much more of a roam-based thing here. But looks like, again, from Elevate, they're just trying to clear quite horizontally. They want to get Geo out of that public bathroom. It doesn't feel like they're going to be pushing for this top floor.
Well, free kill for Diesel. Don't tell me that was... Okay, I thought that was potentially a run out there. But no, just watching the con line. And God Legion playing with fire, if you will. And surely you could potentially be burnt here. I really thought Diesel was about to then. I thought he was about to... Oh, he was going to send that, surely.
You just feel like he wants to. He keeps looking at those windows like, yeah. But not quite. But look, down to less than 50 seconds. It's just, again, a situation here where Elevate have not obtained enough control to be able to comfortably do anything right now.
Oh, Digital. See you later. Again, it is going to be Diesel that steps up. Vinny takes down Worthy as well, just to make matters worse. They have really ripped them apart, limb from limb. The smokes will come down. I don't know how much that's going to save them, with Geo just yeeting that C4 into the face of God Legion. And Hotshot will be caught by the end. And once again, Wildcard very strong on that defense.
Yeah, just Elevate. I'm not too sure. I can't quite wrap my head around what their goal was with that. Maybe they're just trying to expect too much with the aggression and being able to counter that. Because like you said, the round they did win, they got the 2 picks on that window run out, and then they were set. But without those, they just looked stalled. They weren't getting any vertical pressure at all onto Wildcard. There were more holes in that roof than Swiss cheese, and I don't think that gives them any hope or chance to be able to get a plant down in lobby, especially.
Defenders, protect your
You're a cheeky bugger, Reagan. You are cheeky. Pun of the week, I think. That was love that. You've gone ahead and
gunning for
I know.
gunning for pun of the week.
You have outdone Xenox there, but you are more than correct in using that. Now Elevate. This is where we can really tell the story of how they're able to perform. Any thoughts on the first round going here, Raven?
Yeah, look, just trying to keep Wildcard guessing. Haven't seen a whole lot of this side here in OS. It's definitely not as common to be played here in OS. But this strat's looking mighty fancy, I tell you what.
Yeah.
This is well designed from what I can tell so far. It's definitely something that Elevate have played before. I know a while back on this map that Elevate used to play this site on and off. So yeah, I think this is just them trying to pull out again, like just another little trick to throw Wildcard off.
Well, sometimes you can keep it in the back pocket for long enough that you actually manage to take it when the round counts, and this could potentially be exactly that. I am super interested to see how this one plays out, in all honesty. Not as conventional as what we've seen before, nor is the site. And Wildcard approaching, of course, from top down, as you would expect.
It can be a bit tricky too, because you can get admin control so that you can cover plants in tellers, for example, but you can't cover the plant from below, which is usually where you're denying from for tellers. So it's just a bit tricky whether to decide to even push below, or you try and find a safe spot, or you back up your planter in some way in tellers. So we'll see whether that is Wildcard's goal here, but from what I can tell from Elevate strat, they don't want to be playing too much on those upper floors. A lot of them are stacked down here in this basement.
Is that all five? That is all five. There is not
all five of them down there.
There is not a single player even interested in trying to take that control on top floor or any of the sort. Let's wait and see. Diesel obviously looking on site and thinking, well, it is free, but obviously it is not anywhere near as simple as that. Vinny trying to play on some vertical angles of his own there. Geo does take down Digital to open things up, and that is Pulse. That is a big kill to start things off, Raven.
Yeah, Worthy's been tagged very low as well, so it already feels like Wildcard is starting to dismantle this a bit. Heard a C4 just get blown as well. I think that's what it was, so that would be denial. That's very important for Elevate, the way they're trying to execute this. I'm feeling a little bit skeptical this is going to work out, but with 45 seconds to go, it is going to take Wildcard to just bust onto tellers and try and get the plant down.
Certainly so, regardless of how much time is left, all it comes down to is potentially a couple of missed shots, and Elevate are able to successfully take that. Diesel levers on side as Vinny now starts to crawl down a little bit, potentially trying to find some bait there. The C4, will it come out in time? It's not going to deny it, and that's going to be the plant down. Oh no! Oh,
no.
You really do hate to see that. A 3 versus 5. I don't even get to finish my word, my sentence. Wildcard have completely deconstructed that hold from Elevate, and there is nothing that they can do about it.
I think that just came down to the fact that Worthy was on something like 10 HP and the just collateral, but oof, Wildcard, like you said, they did dismantle that, and I don't know, I'm a bit skeptical about the strat. I mean, yeah, you can definitely deny tellers relatively easily from below, but if you're just letting your opponent get all that vertical control above, they can use those holes against you as well, which is, from what I can see, exactly what happened. So I felt like Elevate needed more presence there, but they're not going to try it again. Matic, they're going to go straight to Garage.
I think they'll be a little bit bewildered after that one. That was an absolute stomping by Wildcard there. Not even interested in trying to play the games that Elevate were forcing them into, and rightfully so. As you said, they're completely going to a different site. No thank you, not interested. Because realistically, they do not have the rounds to play with to be reattempting anything like that. They really need to convert these, as only one small slip up and Wildcard are on match point. So for all the hoo-ha that we love to bring, it could all go horribly wrong in a matter of rounds for Elevate.
It's Something more traditional now, at least that we'll see from them, is this garage hold. So let's see whether this
10
does
seconds remaining.
create a little bit of more a competitive round. They've reinforced that public bathroom hatch, so potentially not looking to hold it. I'm curious if they do some kind of vertical roam, maybe on the top floor, and try wiggle around and play aggressive. I think I just saw Vast outline all the way on the top floor, so that might be the case.
Rightio. God Legion looking to set up shop there. So at the very least, Wildcard will be forced to make the decision on how to deal with that. And if they want to deal with that, that is. It looks like they're not interested at all, Raven.
No? In fact, this... Oh no, they are gonna bail away. I was gonna say, maybe this is gonna be a breach rush, honestly, because there was so many of them stacked there. But not gonna be. That wall is gonna add a lot of pressure on the site nice and early here, though. So already start to fear for Elevate, because if Wildcard do manage to get some verticals above Garage, it's going to be very tough for them to be able to play around and deny.
And it looks like potentially Elevate may have conceded that top floor control, which they have. So now God Legion almost isolated on yellow stairs there. Will be able to try to make a play toward the end of this round, unless of course Wildcard are able to flush him out, which could well be what they're looking for. They have now spotted him, and God Legion, of course, he is being watched by Vincier, so whatever decision he makes, he's going to need to make it quite fast. And, well, he doesn't get to. It's Geo that makes it for him. A 4 versus 5 Raven. This is looking to follow a very similar pattern for Wildcard.
Yeah, it feels like it. They're just doing their due diligence and clearing some of this utility and holding some great angles. Pat tagged up really heavily, but Vast just legging it from pipes. Pretty risky, if you ask me. He's going to go all the way back up to Spiral. With 50 seconds to go, feels like match point is potentially looming here for Wildcard.
Certainly does, Raven. They have just been chipping away, and they nudged themselves on site there with Diesel going for the plant. Vast will just get caught out. Oh my word, it is an absolute onslaught. Elevate, once again, are left completely perplexed as to what has really happened. Digital in a 1 versus 4. Surely there is absolutely nothing to be done. There is so much pressure and just far too little time, Raven.
Yeah, with only 25 seconds on the clock, I don't think he's going to be able to find 4. This is one of the hardest post-plant situations in the game, I'd say. Vincier shuts it down. That's Wildcard moving up to match point. They have a 4-round lead.
This is utter dominance, you have to say, from Wildcard. This is the Wildcard that we have come to know and to love as well. And potentially back at fighting forms after Wednesday night's, I don't want to say blunder, but realistically an 8-6 map against Rhythm, regardless of the map, in my thoughts, is somewhat of a miscalculation by Wildcard. So good that they have corrected that and, you know, driven confidence back home for everyone that this is still on for Wildcard.
Yeah, they got a lot of wiggle room now too, so Elevate have to be perfect from here on out just to make sure they even get to overtime. Elevate, of course, have not quite secured their place in the top 6 either. Still on a nice edge, as you've been saying. This would have got them in there, but of course this is probably one of their harder matches to play out. So far, they haven't been able to make much of an impact. Some of those attack rounds looked all right, but generally it hasn't been Wildcard that have been controlling this match.
5 seconds to insertion.
And I would go as far to say they've been terrorizing this match. From literally round 1, Wildcard have not really let Elevate settle for a second. And when you then go on and you look at round number, sorry, not round, rather, the second half, it has been a very good performance from them, and something that has shown a fair bit of aggression as well. So by all means, you have to be happy with the performance so far, and you would have to admit that it's going to continue. There should be no real stopping this at this point. Worthy, though, he at least starts them off on the right foot for Elevate.
Yeah, Vincia though, he's in the printer room already. Just whiffed some shots on the Vast, hit one at least. They did get the opening pick, so that's going to help, but this admin control nice and early from Wildcard is going to be a lot of pressure onto Elevate.
Well, my word. I am very intrigued by this more aggressive style that Wildcard have shown. And see you later, hot shot. It brings it back to one apiece. Look at this right now, Diesel. My word. Wildcard are just going deep. See you later, Emorin taking down Digital. What on earth has happened? Wildcard completely and utterly annihilating Elevate from the server.
No other way to put it, Rob, that was quite the smacking in the end, 7-2. That round in particular, what a way to end it. They looked so confident in that. Just that one round was just incredible. Also, I want to point out, we totally jinxed it. Round number 5, it was 2-2, and we were both like, oh yeah, this might go to overtime. Wildcard won 5 rounds after that to close it out. So, sorry, Elevate.
Well, I don't sound like that, so you must be mimicking yourself, Raven. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, must have been all me.
Holy moly, that is absolutely mental. Every single game tonight, Raven, had the potential to be overtime nail biters, as you put it before this match, and none of them have been able to live up to the expectation.
Right.
And you know what? I'm not even at all disappointed in that. It is great to see that on Playday 4, some of these teams that we were really expecting to take flight have done so, and done so in such dominant fashion.
Yeah, it's been a really strange night in terms of how a lot of these matches have played out. Like you said, we've really felt like this is going to be so many close matches tonight, but none of them were, in fact. I think the closest result was a 7-4. But yeah, like that last one in particular, I thought was going to be the closest. And actually, it was the least closest.
Pantsed. Absolutely pantsed. Yeah. Well, you know what? I am really interested to hear from Silex. We've got him on the line, and this is sure to be an interesting one. Silex, it is great to see you again, my friend. Now, you have absolutely spanked Elevate there. That is very dominant. We were predicting potentially a close match, but you never even let them out of the gates.
Yeah, it feels good to have like a solid win under our belts compared to the last 2 matches where we went into overtime. Yeah, we played our game, read them pretty well mid-game, and yeah, came out with the win.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, I mean, maybe it might not be anything you could pinpoint exactly, but is there something that's shifted within the team since the last 2 matches? Because we were questioning maybe some of the confidence on the roster, and maybe it hadn't quite fit in yet with Vinny. But tonight was a total exception to what we've seen. Yeah, so was there anything in particular that's changed?
There was nothing really that was different. We're on point today, made more of our shots. Emo went off, which is fantastic. Yeah, like the last few matches, we had a bit of a rough defense on Coastline last week, but we pulled it back on attack. This time, our defense, we held strong, made fewer mistakes. I mean, we did make a couple of gambles in the early rounds, but we like set some precedents that, yeah, we're going to make these gambles, so be on your toes, guys. And yeah, like nothing else to really say about that, I think.
I just very quickly before we let you go, I would say that that's probably the most aggressive that we've seen you. Would you say that that is correct?
I wouldn't say it's the most aggressive we've been. We're trying to make calculated plays here. We know their positions. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to get those opening frags and get the upper hand early, and that'll put us into a good position like late round where we think we're really good at adapting. And that's like our strengths, so we play to it.
Beautiful. Well, short and sweet. That's how we love it. Thank you very much, Silex, and thank you for the input. Good luck with the rest of the matches, I guess.
Thank you. Nice seeing you boys again. See you later.
Always a pleasure, Silex. Always a pleasure.
Yep.
He always gives us some good insight and short and to the point, which is what we needed there, because I guess there's not really much else to add, Raven, for Wildcard side.
Yeah, it's when it's like that, it really is a little more black and white than some of the other interviews or some of the other insights that you might look for. They really did just outplay Elevate. They played very confidently, and you can tell from what Silex said, there were a bit of mind games with that. Those early runouts were calculated to put that in the back of the minds of Elevate, like, hey, we're ready to be aggressive. You have to be ready for that.
Yep.
Emo Rin's Roam that was undroned. That was always going to plague as well in Elevate's mind. It's just, I mean, that's not something that Wildcard forced to happen.
Yes.
But that's just the nature of it. If you have a missed drone, it will be in the back of your mind for the rest of your attack.
Yeah, and so maybe that then starts to beg the question for Elevate, surrounding their performance tonight. What are your thoughts, very quickly before we bring on the interviewee? Is this a misstep, a miscalculation from Elevate, or do you think that this is just Wildcard when they're on?
I think it's a mixture of both. Like, I felt like there were definitely obvious mistakes that Elevate were making tonight that it wouldn't matter who they were against, probably get capitalized on.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, Wildcard just kind of stepped it up tonight. They were on their game, like Silex said, and I think a lot of what they did was just working out really well.
I think Elevate have been on the upward trajectory, as we've been saying. You know, after a close match that they lost to Knights, they then went into another close match with Rhythm where they were able to close that one out. Akami looked very convincing. This has just been utter dominance. So we look to Ferox and LFO Noble for the rest of their season. And to be honest, I still do have quite high hopes for Elevate and their roster, because that, again, we have seen them at peak in season 11 of Pro League right before we changed the format. And it really does, there's a lot of hope around what this roster can do.
Yeah, I think if they don't get too in their heads, they can still finish strong. I can foresee a couple of wins towards the end of the season. I don't see them not being top 6 based on how they have played for most of this season so far. But they do need to tidy some stuff up because they want to be able to challenge in playoffs. Some of the stuff we saw tonight definitely won't fly.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I think that we do get to ask some questions, and that will be with Vast, fortunately enough for us. So Vast, when we get him in here, welcome in, my friend. It's always a pleasure to see you. Maybe this time it's not on the best of terms. A 7-2 loss against Wildcard. They seem to have the upper hand the entire time. There are a couple of early rounds where particularly things didn't go your way. How do you feel about that matchup in particular? Because we were still expecting that one to be close.
Yeah, pretty disappointed. Only really have ourselves to blame. Wildcard played really well. Their aggression, we were really struggling to deal with it, and they were just finding like they were capitalizing a lot on mistakes and stuff like that. But
yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well, to be honest with you. I guess we'll look forward from here. You've got 3 more games for the rest of the season. You guys are not quite locked in for playoffs. You believe you need 1 more victory to be pretty safe. How are you feeling for those final 3 games to be able to close out the regular season?
Pretty confident still. Yeah, it was just, honestly, it was just such a really bad night. So it's definitely not a game that's going to change our attitudes and motivation. But yeah, we're still confident. We have 3 games left. So we're going to put all our 100% in and try to make top 6.
For sure, and I think that is perfectly on the agenda for you and the boys. You've shown us before and you'll show us again. So Vast, thank you very much for your time, my friend. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you shortly.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
Again, not indicative of their season or their performances of past is tonight, because sometimes things happen. Again, you don't have the opportunity to grab back any of that dignity or, try and claw back some of that result. If it's not on the night, it's not on. And that is just the way it is for them tonight. But still, high hopes for what that roster can achieve heading into playoffs, if we get there.
Yeah, look, it's something that they still need to work on is the consistency. I tend to agree that it's not really a big indicator of what they're capable of, but they have also shown that they can be inconsistent, if anything else. It's something they will have to tidy up, like I said, because if they do want to make playoffs, but also compete in it with some of these top teams like Knights and Wildcard, they'll have to really nail that.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. Well, let's have a look at how all of the matches went tonight. Of course, we came to you pleading that this was going to be a close night, that potentially we could be here until the AM, and how wrong we were, Raven. From start to finish, there have been huge performances.
It personally got less close as the night went on, which was pretty much the opposite of what I was expecting. But look, I think some strong teams stepped up tonight, returned to form for Akami, for example, getting a victory against LFO. And I think a standout thing for me too is that the Knights really cemented. They are right up there as probably the top team at the moment. I am excited for a Knights versus Wildcard game.
Oh, yeah, we are. And it's not far away at all. Literally only 5 days away, I think, at this point. So let's have a look at the standings. Let's have a look at where all these teams have landed after tonight's matches. Well, Knights, they have taken somewhat of a demanding lead, if you would say so. Still 5 rounds clear and 3 points clear of Wildcard and Noble. And as it tapers down the bottom there, Rhythm and LFO, dire straits at this point, considering the fact that Rhythm have LFO, Noble and Knights. And, well, of course, LFO have Rhythm, but they also have Elevate and Ferox. So these last 3 Playdays are going to have huge consequences for those 2 teams.
Yeah, the standings will really shape up quite significantly based on a lot of those results, as you just pointed out. On the other hand, like you talked about Elevate having LFO, I'd say that's basically the game they need to win, right? If they beat LFO, I don't believe they'll be in danger of relegation playoffs. I have not done any maths for that, but that's just what it looks like at first glance here. Yeah. And that's just the reality for LFO and Rhythm right now, is just they cannot lose another game, or they're basically cementing themselves in that bottom 2.
Yeah, and I think it's if either of those teams manage to pull off a 2 victories in the next 3 weeks, it is going to be an absolute dogfight for whoever is sitting at the middle of that table, just as it was last season, Raven. So that is sure to be an absolute gorgeous end to the season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's actually, it's always such a tense but exciting thing, is those final play days, as the standings lock in. Even more so this season because we do have relegations to think about. Normally it was just who's making playoffs, who doesn't. That's what it was like for Six Masters. But with relegations on the line, it's tense at both ends.
Look, to be honest, with relegation looming large and only a handful of days to go, the next 3 play days are sure to be absolute bangers. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you next Wednesday. Take care.
My mind's on mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black, as the soul in me and the heart I have for you. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life. Oh, you bring me to life.
I'm safe, only. Even though we burn from the light I bleed. But she bring me back, not a heart attack could take away.